Dave Nelson from Grace Christian Fellowship. Thank you for coming on the show today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
So tell us about Grace Christian Fellowship.
Grace Christian Fellowship is, we're on Hamilton. We're just across from the Donut Parade. And we're an independent church, and we want to glorify God through the preaching of His Word and the gathering of His people.
You've been involved with UGM for 9 years. Tell us about that relationship and then what you guys do.
Well, I was hired on staff about 10 years ago, and one of my job functions was outreach to the community. And so I'd spent a lot of time praying, knocking on doors, trying to figure out how to reach out to the community. And it was about that time that I got a call from the UGM about doing a summer camp. And it was just a godsend because I had been praying for this. We got the phone call. I had just read a book about involvement in the community through the local elementary school, and a guy calls me from the UGM to say, do you want to run a camp with the elementary school across the street from your church? And so it was an answer to prayer. And so it was an initiated call by the UGM.
So what are some of the services that, like when you go to a camp, tell us about the experience a kid will have at a camp?
Well, we do the camp, it's 1 week in the summer, and we have about 60 kids roughly that come from the school, Logan Elementary School, and we get on buses. Well, first we had a barbecue at the church, and then we get on buses, head out to the camp, and the kids eat 3 great meals a day. They do water sports, field sports. We have a cabin, there's a sports court, and so just a ton of activities, both group activities and personal activities, as well as a chapel, and we get to share the gospel with the kids.
That's amazing. So what do you see from the kids and the families after the experience? Like what's been the result?
I think, and this is the whole reason we did it in the first place, because that's a young age. We take grades 4 through 6, and kids at that age are really still very much under the influence of their families, and so our goal has been to connect with the families. And so before the camp, I meet with every one of the parents and just tell them, here's what we're going to be doing at camp. And so the relationship is already beginning before the camp starts. And then after the camp, and this is probably the thrust of what we do, is we seek to do a lot of follow-up with the families. Phone calls, door visits, letters in the mail. And so we begin a relationship that way. And the families are very receptive. Their kids had a great time at camp, and they're really excited to talk to us after that.
So now with everything going on, kids not being able to be in school, how has that impacted you, and how can you guys help the community now?
Well, we're as a church, we're doing everything we can, whenever we can, to continue to connect with that group, especially the group of people who have sent kids to camp. And so when this came out, I heard something through the grapevine about UGM having extra food. And in my mind, that's just one more connection with these families. We've invited them to Bible studies, we've met with them, and this is just one more way to help them.
So you were able to take food that UGM got from other organizations and then distribute those to families that have been affected or are struggling?
Yeah, so a lot of those families are coming to the Logan Elementary School every day, and it's just a quick phone call to the principal. Is this acceptable? Can we do this? Yes. Quick phone call to UGM. Can we do this? Would you guys have a way to set us up so we can help the school? And UGM was yes. And so it was a 10-minute ordeal. Sometimes we have a pretty random assortment. Today's kind of easy because we just have boxes that can be broken up easily. And the families start coming by at 11 to pick the stuff up. This is Penny. She's the assistant to the principal and has been a tremendous asset here. We drop off the food and then they scramble to get it so that they can hand it out to the families.
Yeah, well, we have a great team. They're working really hard to get things put together. Our families are so appreciative when they get anything extra. We are in the highest poverty school in the county, so our families are really in need. Thanks for everything you guys are doing. Every delivery you bring has been well appreciated.
So what's the plan for this summer with everything and continuing the mission?
Well, I've been just amazed at Brent and just how he's the principal at Logan and how supportive he's been of the camp. And obviously, it's hard to plan, and it takes more than 60 volunteers from the church to run the camp. And so we've really been waiting and seeing, are we going to be able to do this? And so we're probably going to move in a different direction where possibly with the UGM, we do some kind of 3-day ordeal just here in town where we continue to reach out to the kids. Brent's helped me to get connected with the families, because before I've done an assembly in school, and I obviously can't do that, can't go into the classrooms and invite the kids. And so we've had to approach it differently. But he's helped me get the word out to the families even while they've been staying home. And so we've already got 30 kids signed up.
Oh, wow.
And without even going to school. And so we'll do something probably in town where we seek to feed them, bless them, play games with them, maybe have a water castle and do dinner with them 3 nights in a row and invite the parents on the last night. So we're working on that right now.
What else have you seen from the community that's just been uplifting? Because through all this crisis, there's been just so many good things, so many blessings. What's something that sticks out to you?
Just the interaction with specific families and having families be excited about this, and even having families say, oh, well, I'm taking this and I'm going to give it to my neighbor. And so there's quite a bit of sharing the love.
So if people wanted to support your organization, what could they do?
Really, either start coming to Grace Christian Fellowship. We'd love to have you and come and join what we're doing there, or just continue to support the UGM.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's really excellent what you're doing. After this, we have Philip Altmaier from the UGM.
Check out Community Positive, a TV show dedicated to promoting positivity. Each week, we highlight business owners and community leaders doing incredible things in the Spokane community.
Saturday and Sunday at 6 on Fox 28.